Topic we are going to discuss in this module is audio, how the audio will be represented here. So, audio is nothing but the definition we can give sound within the range of human hearing is nothing but audio. Or I can say that sound is the audio sound is within the acoustic range available to the human hear. That is nothing but the audio. So, audio frequency is an electrical alternating current. So within the frequency range of 20 to 20 kilohertz that can produce the different acoustic sounds. There are two types of the audio signals. One is speech signal, another one is a musical signal. Both are in continuous in nature. So it is also called as continuous media type signal. The speech signal in the sense which is used in variety of interpersonal applications like telephony, video telephone, like that. Musical quality audio applications are used like a CD on demand, broadcast television. Normally audio can be produced naturally, or you can use some synthesizer in order to create some audio musics. Naturally in the sense by means of some microphones are used which will generate the time varying analog signals. Where suppose I'm speaking in the sense this is nothing but continuously varying signal. So here the mic is used for converting that time varying analog signal. The audio signal encoder takes this analog signal and convert this one into digital form in order to store the signal in the memory of the computer or memory of the tablet, this Lenovo tablet, and to transmit them over the digital network. At the destination, again one more audio signal and converter is used, encoder is used to convert the reconstruct the image, the reconstruct the audio signal into the that will be converted into analog form as a audio output, which produce the that audio output will be in the analogous nature. This is nothing but the audio which is produced in nature. Second one is nothing but the audio which will be produced by using synthesizer, that is equalizer, which creates the audio in the digital form that can be readily stored in the computer memory output. The bandwidth of the speech signal is 50 to 10 kilohertz, 50 hertz to 10 kilohertz. The sampling rate may be 20 kilo samples per second or 2 into 10 kilohertz used for the speech. The bandwidth for the music signal may be 15 hertz to 20 kilohertz. The sampling rate may be 40 kilo samples per second or 2 into 20 kilohertz, which is used for the speech. So the number of bits per sample must be chosen according to the quantization noise generated by the sampling process, acceptable level of the relative minimum signal level. We have to consider the quantization interval for audio, which requires minimum of 12 bits per sample, and music in the sense it is 16 bits per sample. So the application involves music's, that is stereo sound utilized for the those signals which will produce the bitrate doubles of the mono signal. Stereo will produce the which requires more bitrate when compared to the mono signal. In practice, the sampling rate used for the number of bits is less than these values. So for speech signal, the bandwidth of the network may be used in interpersonal application, often less than the bandwidth of the source signal. So the lower sampling rate with the fewer sampling is needed. For the music in the sense, sampling rate must be lower to reduce the amount of memory which is required to store in the particular passage of the signal. So next one is nothing but a PCM speech, that is PCM speech in the sense pulse code modulation speech. So interpersonal application involves the speech which uses the PSTN for the communication purpose. Initially, the PSTN is operated with the analog signal throughput. The source speech signal is transmitted and routed in its original analog form. Progressively older analog transmission circuits were replaced with the digital circuits. And this will be carried out because the need of internetwork is in the newer come, it is digital equipments nowadays we are using. So the transition period for the digital equipment was very late, so that time this kind of analog networks are used. But the bandwidth of the speech circuit is limited to 200 hertz through the 3.4 kilohertz in olden days. The Nyquist rate also it is 6.8 kilohertz due to the poor quality of the band limiting filters used, and the sampling rate also it is 8 kilohertz in order to avoid the aliasing. Aliasing is nothing but overlapping of the signal. So to minimize this resulting bitrate, we are using the 7 bits per sample were selected in the North America, and Japan it was bitrate of 56 kbps, and in Europe and Asian countries we have used 8 bits per sample including sine bit with the 64 kbps. So pulse code modulation is a digitization process in which the international standard relating this one is given for the pulse code modulation, which consists of encoder as well as the decoder. That means consists of a compressor in the encoding part and expander in the decoding part, which uses the linear quantization principle where the quantization intervals are equal irrespective of the magnitude of the input signal. Same level of quantization noise is produced. So the noise level is the same for both lower amplitude as well as the higher amplitude. It may be a quiet signal or it may be a loud signal. The human ear is more sensitive to the noise for the quiet signal than its loud signal. So to reduce the effect of the quantization noise with the 8-bit sample, the special technique we are using is nothing but PCM. The quantization intervals are made non-linear, that is unequal with the narrower intervals used for the smaller amplitude. For larger signals, this can be achieved by compressor, that is called as encoding, and the destination, the reverse operation is used. There it is, we are using the circuit, we call it as a expander. So overall operation of the compressor and expander is called as companding. And prior to the input signal, it has to be first sampled, then it is converted in digital form by ADC, then it has been passed through the compression circuit, then which has effectively compresses the amplitude of the input signal. The level of compression is depends upon the quantization interval increases and the signal input increases through the ADC, which performs the linear quantization of the compressed signal. At the destination, each received code word is first fed into the linear DAC circuit. From the DAC, it is passed to the expander circuit, then it will performs the reverse operation in the compressor circuit. So modern system performs the compression and expansion by using the two different characteristics of the law is used, that is nothing but mu law and A law. Mu law is used in North America and A law is used in Europe and other countries.